you beautiful faces. Welcome to the Viral Report. I'm Lamar. Alright, so in our last video, we talked about how the virus came to be and what the government was doing and how the news media was trying to spin certain narratives. Well, fast forward almost a month later, and man, this virus has everyone out here acting a fool over paper towels, toilet paper, and hand sanitizers. I mean, the lines are wrapped around the buildings at Costco's and other retailers like it's old school Black Friday. You know, I even tried to go out and purchase normal household essentials, and shelves were on E. I mean, the greediness is off the charts. And on top of that, you have people out here literally fighting over toilet paper, stabbing people with wine bottles because two shopping carts touched each other. And then you have this one woman out here who wanted to jump on another shopper because her shopping cart touched her. I mean, it's all crazy. It's like common sense is going out the window here. You really would think that the crack that they put inside those Popeyes chicken sandwiches had returned and was causing adults all over the world to behave like children. Because yes, this fighting and this craziness has spread international. I want you all to go ahead and take a look at this video.
I said, do not replace my car. No, wait. Go. Listen. He was there. I'm being nice.
All right, cool, no problem. All right, well, listen, we gotta, listen. As human beings, we gotta come together at a time like this. So I need you guys to calm down.
I'm gonna touch him with that card again.
It's all right, love. She's not gonna touch you with the card. Please, guys, everybody, as human beings, let's get together. Come on now, guys. I understand, guys. Let's get together. This is over.
Fighting over this, man. What in the hell happened? Come on, man. I mean, come on.
I just want one pack.
No, not one back.
Now the 60-year-old mother and her 23-year-old daughter, who were wheeling a trolley full of rolls at Woolworths Chullora, have been charged with a fray and are due in court next month.
I cannot understand the logic. We have a big factory in Penrith that produces toilet paper.
Investigators spoke to the other woman, a 49-year-old, who'd allegedly been assaulted, but she wasn't injured. The incident, one of several at Australian supermarkets, as desperation for toilet paper reaches irrational levels.
Everybody please stay calm and be rational. We have everything we need.
What a ratchet mess. And I'm gonna need people to worry more about saving their money because businesses are already starting to proceed with layoffs, especially small businesses, cruise lines, and airlines, because travel bans are in effect and people aren't dining at certain restaurants like they used to. You know, and it's nice to stock up, but what are you gonna do if you're laid off a month from now, 2 months from now? Stores will restock, you know, they're gonna continue to restock, but your bank account may not. And yes, the government may be out here scrambling for solutions to this crisis. My focus is more long term. Some employers are, they're starting to offer up to 14 days of paid leave for those affected by the virus or have children who are out of school. However, experts are saying this pandemic could last as long as 18 months. Yes, 18 months. This is mainly due to America's slow reaction to the potential deadly virus and President Dump out here downplaying and lying to the American people.
Will go away, just stay calm, it will go away, but everybody has to be vigilant and has to be careful, but be calm. It's really working out and a lot of good things are going to happen.
The virus, they're working hard. Looks like by April, in theory, when it gets a little warmer, it miraculously goes away. I hope that's true. But we're doing great in our country. China, I spoke with President Xi and they're working very, very hard. And I think it's going to all work out fine. Rough stuff, I tell you, rough stuff. But I think it's going to work out good. We only have 11 cases, and they're all getting better.
Oh my gosh, this man and his administration tells nothing but lies. America has always had a big ego problem, and this just continues with Trump and his wildcats. You know, this man is so delusional, he can't even believe he can catch the virus, even when others around him are catching the virus. And for the longest, he downplayed the seriousness of the coronavirus. You know, and I find it funny. I find it funny as hell. On March 11th, he was talking all bold, talking about what the White House doctor had told him and yada, yada, yada. And then on March 12th, he started sounding all sickly, could hardly breathe in his national state of the emergency speech. This MFer has the virus, y'all. Check this out.
Please. Why not get tested yourself and you interact with Matt Gates and Doug Collins? Well, I don't think it's a big deal. I would do it. I don't feel that any reason. I feel extremely good. I feel very good. But I guess it's not a big deal to get tested, and something I would do. But again, spoke to the White House doctor, terrific guy, talented guy. He said he sees no reason to do it. There's no symptoms, no anything. My fellow Americans, tonight I want to speak with you about our nation's unprecedented response to the coronavirus outbreak that started in China and is now spreading throughout the world. Today, the World Health Organization officially announced that this is a global pandemic. I am confident that by counting and continuing to take these tough measures, we will significantly reduce the threat to our citizens, and we will ultimately and expeditiously defeat this virus. From the beginning of time, nations and people have faced unforeseen challenges, including large-scale and very dangerous health threats. This is the way it always was and always will be. The European Union failed to take the same precautions and restrict travel from China and other hotspots. As a result, a large number of new clusters in the United States were seeded by travelers from Europe. After consulting with our top government health professionals, I have decided to take several strong but necessary actions to protect the health and well-being of all Americans. Spoke to the White House doctor. He said he sees no reason to do it. There's no symptoms, no anything. You know what? If there were, you people would be the first to know it. You would maybe even tell me about it.
Bunch of bull.
All right, so y'all just seen Trump talking and gasping for air like he needs a damn oxygen mask. Now, why the White House put his corona gasping ass on air, I have no idea. But what I do know is that this administration is filled with incompetent family members. That's what happens when you run the country using the Sprint cell phone plan method. Y'all remember those damn family plans where you could easily have your friend or family member join your plan and then those people could recommend others to join. This is what the Trump administration is made of because he only hires family and friends. So our lives and our country depends on whatever this family network cooks up in their psychotic minds. I'm sure I have some Trump supporters on here, and let me tell everybody who's listening, okay? This is an unbiased channel. I'm team neutral over here all day. And to give you an example of why you should never run your business being America with unqualified, only there for the money and title nutbrains, is because this is what happens. The director of the Department of Homeland Security couldn't even answer basic questions about the coronavirus.
To determine that.
How many are you anticipate?
We do anticipate the number will grow. I don't have an exact figure for you though.
Do you have an estimate? Is someone modeling that? Do you have any way of guessing?
Again, HHS through their medical professionals.
Well, yes, sir, but you're head of Homeland Security.
Yes, sir.
And your job is to keep us safe.
Yes, sir.
Do you know today how many the experts are predicting?
We only know that, again, we anticipate those numbers to grow in the U.S. That's why we're making sure that our operations, again, at our airports, land ports, and elsewhere are flexible.
But you can't tell us how many your models are anticipating.
No, Senator. Again, I would defer you to the Health and Human Services for that.
Okay. Don't you think you ought to check on that?
We will.
As the head of Homeland Security?
Absolutely. And again, we have task force members that are working this on every day.
I'm all for committees and task force.
So we're coordinating with them to make sure that our operation...
You're the secretary. I think you ought to know that answer.
I understand that.
How is the coronavirus transmitted?
Through a variety of ways. Obviously, human to human, we've seen that. And again, we're making sure that those procedures, as they come into the U.S., are medically screened so that we can identify those.
How is it transmitted?
A variety of different ways, Senator.
Tell me what they are, Buzz.
Again, human to human is what we've primarily
human
seen.
To human, how?
Being in the same vicinity, physical contact is usually what we've seen from the medical cases that we've seen here in the U.S. We've had several, I think 2 to 3 human-to-human cases that have showed up here in the U.S. So it's those that are closest to those individuals that have that human contact.
What's the mortality rate so far, nationwide?
I believe it
worldwide.
Worldwide, I believe it's under 2%.
How much under 2%?
I'll get you an exact figure. I'll check with CDC on their monitoring the worldwide mortality rate, and I can get that for you.
But you don't know the mortality rate today.
It changes daily, Senator.
Well, I understand that.
Given
What's the average since we discovered the virus?
Again, it's under 2%. It was as high as 3. Numbers were recalculated based on reporting from China.
Is it between 1.5 and 2?
It's between 1.5 and 2%.
Okay, what's the mortality rate for influenza over the last, say, 10 years in America?
It's also right around that percentage as well. I don't have that offhand, but it's right around 2% as well.
You sure of that?
It's a little bit, yes, sir.
Okay. Do we have enough respirators?
To my knowledge, we do. I'm focused on making sure that our operators at DHS make sure that they have the protective equipment. I know HHS, as part of the supplemental.
Well, we just heard testimony that we don't.
Testimony from?
In a briefing.
Okay.
So you're head of Homeland Security.
For medical professionals or for sorry, I don't understand the question.
You're head of Homeland Security. Do we have enough respirators or not?
For patients, I don't understand the question.
For everybody, every American who needs one who gets the disease.
Again, I would refer you to HHS on that.
Mr. Secretary, you're supposed to keep us safe.
My budget supports the men and women
You're
of the
the Secretary of Homeland Security.
Yes, sir.
And you can't tell me if we have enough respirators.
What I would tell you is that the budget, my budget, our operations are focused not only on the men and women of DHS, making sure they're protected to do their jobs, to screen individuals coming in. We're working with HHS, CDC, and their budget
know the answer, do you?
to ensure that they have enough medical equipment.
Do we have enough face masks?
We, for the Department of Homeland Security, we do.
I'm not asking for the Department of Homeland Security.
Are you looking?
I'm asking for the American people.
For the entire American public?
Yes.
No, I would say probably not.
Okay, how short are we?
I don't have that number offhand, Senator. I will get that for you.
Okay, but I want to be sure I understand. Somebody
Yes, sir.
is doing modeling
Yes, sir.
on how many cases we're anticipating. You're
Yes, sir.
just not aware of that.
You're asking me a number of medical questions that
I'm asking
CDC
you questions
and
because you're
HHS
Secretary of
are
the
focusing
Department
on.
of Homeland Security, and you're supposed to keep us safe.
Yes, sir.
And you need to know the answers to these questions.
And
How far away are we from getting a vaccine?
in several months.
Well, that's not what we just heard testimony about.
Okay.
Who's on first here?
HHS is
What's
the
on
lead
second?
federal agency for the coronavirus response.
You're telling me we're months away, seeing that's your testimony as Secretary of Homeland Security.
What I have been told by HHS and CDC, yes.
And have you probed that to make sure that's accurate?
Yes. We continue, every day we have task force meetings with those individuals and elsewhere talking about a number of these
Well, your
issues.
numbers aren't the same as CDC's.
Then I would certainly defer to CDC on our medical questions.
Well, don't you think you ought to contact them and find out whether you're right or
We're
not right?
in contact with them every day on our task force.
But you don't know why
planning
you have
for
a
it.
discrepancy.
I would refer you to the CDC on
Mr.
specific
Secretary,
questions.
I'm going to hush here. You're supposed to keep us safe, and the American people deserve some straight answers on the coronavirus. And
Senator,
I'm not getting them from you.
Today, his administration pushed back. Natalie Brand is at the White House.
The United States is more prepared than any other nation in the world.
A Sunday morning show of force as two leaders of the Trump administration's coronavirus task force tried to allay criticism and concerns.
The risk to average Americans remains low.
But the Health and Human Services Secretary acknowledges the transmission of additional cases is inevitable.
we will have more, and we will have more community cases. It's simply just a matter of math.
Some state leaders, including California's governor, sounded the alarm last week over a shortage of testing kits.
Within the next week or two, we'll have a radical expansion even beyond that of the testing that's available.
Vice President Mike Pence, put in charge of the coronavirus response, says despite the FDA approving an expedited process, a vaccine will not likely be available this season.
We are clearing the red tape out of the way. The FDA is providing great leadership on this front to have a vaccine for the American people by next year.
We very much need seniors, who are the most susceptible population, to be able to get it.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says he expects an emergency funding package to be introduced early this week.
I hope the administration has now gotten the music after we push them, that we have to do a lot more and a lot more quickly. All hands on deck. All parties, all people fighting.
All right, so y'all just saw that video, and it's just sad that there's so many unfilled positions between the White House and the Homeland Security departments. And for Chad Wolf to not be able to answer those questions regarding coronavirus is just sad. And it's scary as well, you know, because it shows you that there's just people in place that just don't know what's going on, or they just don't care, or they just don't know how to do their jobs because they're not qualified. So in closing, do I believe that the media is hyping things up and causing people to panic? No, they're just doing their job. And even if the media was frightening everyone, it's up to adults to be grown-ups and not act like teenagers fighting over a newly released iPhone that happens to be the last one in stock. So just remember, everyone, to keep your hands washed, wash them for at least 20 seconds, and do not touch your face with unclean hands. And don't go putting hands on everyone out here who's, coughing. Some people do have an autoimmune disease that causes them to cough sporadically or maybe even repeatedly. Also, those masks that everyone's looking for, they won't do you any justice if you're out here touching your face, as the virus can enter your body through your eyes, nose, ears, and mouth, or any open cuts. This is the part of the video where I want to know, what do you think? Do you think people are overreacting by fighting and buying up toilet paper and paper towels? Or do you think that they're just in the right and they're preparing for just a major shitstorm that's coming their way? Do you think Trump and his administration are telling the truth, that we're in good hands? And lastly, do you believe, like me, that Donald J. Trump finally has caught the virus based on his recent speech where he was gasping for air like a big ass orange pufferfish? Alright, y'all, so there's just so much I didn't cover in this video. I hope you really enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Peace. Oh man, you came to the right channel. Let's get this party started.
Are you about to kill this man? Pop these niggas like...
Who the
I didn't do it.